Welcome to Choose Views with Richard Chew. Get ready to dive into a world of insightful conversations and thought-provoking discussions.
As progressives, our job is to have an all-inclusive, full-on assault with all of our players.
A show that will focus on moving our political, social, economic, gender, and cultural conversation forward.
And all of our players means all of our players.
It's Choose Views. And now, here's your host, Richard Chew.
Good Wednesday morning, progressives, and welcome to the February 6th. No, it's not. It's February 5th, 2025 edition of Choose Views, 773-763-9278. Just wanted to see if you were awake. February 5th edition of Choose Views, 773-763-9278. Of course, catch us on Facebook Live, TuneIn Radio, YouTube, Twitter stream, and iHeartRadio. Email me at richard@WCPT820.com. Catch all of our shows by subscribing to our WCPT podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. There you can get the short version and long version of Choose Views. Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive, driving it home with Patty Vasquez. The Big Picture with Edwin Eisendrath, Out Chicago, and other shows that are here on our station. Great stuff. Check out our heartlandsignal.com platform and share, like, pass on, read, review, inform yourself, all those good things. And we will do our best to keep the good stuff coming to you. So today we will be joined by our good friend Kurt Mullett from Hoosier Blue 63. It's in the 7 o'clock hour. And then we will have a couple of folks that are part of the Illinois division of the American Cancer Society, Lung Association, I'm sorry. And they will be talking about cancer survival. So in the conversation around where we are with our medical and health and human services on a federal level, we're going to get some conversation and information from folks who are here locally here in Chicago. So that'll be in the 7:30 hour, and look forward to talking with both of our guests then. But for now, we have to remember that we are rhinos, not lions. We are rhinos. We do what we have to do in this moment. And some of the clips that Henry and I put together for you will speak to what some of our national leaders are saying. And on Friday, we will have Mayor Brandon Johnson, who I'm certain will have a few things to say about what's happening. Tomorrow, Jamal Cole, the founder of My Block, My Hood, My City, will be with us. And Rich Logis, Leaving MAGA, will be here as well. So we are rhinos. We are rhinos, not lions or any other animal in the kingdom. We are rhinos, and we have to use our rhino strength to let folks know that we're here. We have to knock over some tables. We have to stand up, and even if we're sitting down, we have to let them know that we're here. So right now, with the craziness that we're seeing, and the probably the biggest conversation is around these Doge boys, and I'm going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about a couple other things. But hey, guys, guess what? It's February 5th, and it is the 1-year anniversary of what? Choose Views here on WCPT in Chicago, AM 810, 820, where facts matter, and all those other good things. So as much as it's the 1-year anniversary of the show and it's Choose Views, it's also an opportunity for me to say a big, big thank you to all of you guys who listen to not only my show, but listen to all of our shows here on WCPT. And that includes, following me, the Stephanie Miller Show, Tom Hartman, Joan Esposito, Patty Vasquez, all of our evening programming, our weekend programming, Edwin, everything that we produce here, and the family meeting, of course. But most definitely, and I want to say that for me, it's a thank you to the team here that keeps our shows running. Without them, we would not be able to do the work that we do. So whenever you call in or email or whatever, communicate, always give some love to Henry and to Devin and to Alex and Lady B and to Paul, and to Andy, all the folks that are here that help our shows be what they are. And we thank you for that. I thank you for that in the stead of everyone else that you may not hear on the radio. And then I also thank you guys who've done things like sent cards, you sent letters, you sent little gifts, you sent books, you sent all sorts of things. You sent wonderful emails, ones that are informative, ones that are challenging, and oftentimes help with the cleanup on aisle 7. You guys have sent text, and they are always helpful, informative, and many times there's some cleanup on aisle 7 in that. And your calls have always been great, and they're compelling, and most definitely ones that capture our attention and require us to think out of the box sometimes, and to push us to do an even better job. And that's the thing that I've committed to every single day, and I hope I've done a decent job of getting there. Also, I want to thank the guests that we've had. I mean, have we had some great guests? I mean, like to hear from you guys in that space. We've had some great guests over the past year, and they range from a little bit of everybody, and from different factions of the progressive conversation. And it's just, that's really been cool. The people that we've been able to talk with and interview and be able to bring to you their message about the things that they're working on. And so, and I have to give a tremendous amount of thanks to my wife, Ann, who's been there and supportive, and all the things that, that you, if you're blessed to have a spouse or a partner of any kind, she's been there to make sure that I keep it on the rails, keep my head in line, keep my ego in line, keep all those things in check, at the same time encouraging me to push harder and do a better job. So, I have to give my number one loudest thank you to my wife, Ann, for giving me the encouragement and the support to do the show. So thank you, love. I appreciate you for that. And so many others of you who are part of my support team on a personal level, and station management, from Mark to Matt to Tim to everybody that's part of the CPT team and the Heartland Signal team. And sometimes when you don't have a prepared thing you're going to say, and you don't want to miss anybody. So that's why I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone by letting everyone know, Heartland and WCPT, thank you for the opportunity to bring the message that I bring to our audience. And thank you to the audience for being here to listen to it. And hopefully you guys can share it with more and more people. And shout outs to the folks that have been our regulars. Today we've got Kurt Mullett that'll be with us. On Friday we've got Karen Byrne from True Blue Politics Podcast. Thanks to her. And thanks to the people who have been folks that I've run into at events that like, hey, Richard, it's me. I call in. Thank you to you as well. You guys are a big part of this process. And so if I have a request from each and every one of you that listens to the show, that follows the show in any capacity, my request as we go into year 2 is to spread the word and to reach out to people and make sure that they have a venue, that they know about this station and the shows that we have here, so that they have an outlet, a place to go. There's a lot of people who are still kind of trying to figure this out as it relates to the election in November. And they're trying to figure out how that's going to impact them even on a local level, when we've got a good, strong, system here in Illinois with our great governor and lieutenant governor, our AG, our Cook County president, and our mayor. Imperfect as we all are, but they're darn sure working their behinds off to bring us the best that they've got. So when you think about my little request is that you pass on what we do here to somebody that you know, wherever you are in the country. We've been so blessed to have folks from California to Oregon to Florida to Maine reach out to us. And I can't even tell you how cool that is. That's just like, wow, really? But help the folks who are in your communities, wherever you are in the country, pass on what we're doing here. I'm telling you that that's going to be so empowering, to not only to them, but to you as well. If you believe even a little bit in what we're doing here at WCPT and Heartland Signal, one of the most gifting things you can do is to pass it on to somebody. You don't know how they're going to take it. This is the thing one of the things that I've learned is, and this is in that whole conversation around speak up and say something, because you don't know. You don't let me put it this way. Don't self-censor. In other words, if there are people that it doesn't even matter if you think they would be interested, let people know. You never know when you share something with someone, particularly with what we're doing in this environment that we're in right now. You never know. That person may have been looking for someone to reach out to them. They've given you the impression that they're fine. Everything's fine. And they are, but in this space, this current environment that we're in, they were just hoping somebody would reach out to them and say, hey, there's this station, there's this organization, there's this group of people that, they're progressive in their conversation and in their shows. You might want to check them out. Pass it on. You don't know. That person may be struggling like hell dealing with all this. And they're just putting on they've got a good costume on, Henry, and they're getting through. But if they had the opportunity to talk to listen to and hear the imperfectness of what we do on this show, on this station, it could be life-changing for them. So that's why I ask you, my one little gift you can give me as we go into the second year, is that you pass on what we do here at WCPT and Heartland Signal to somebody that you know and someone that you don't know. And you might be surprised that, and I have to give an additionally big shout out to my good friend, my cousin, Eric Grant, who hosts a family meeting. Eric's a great guy, y'all. He is tough as nails, and he's a great dad. He's a great husband. He's a great friend. He's a great businessman. And I have to give my shout outs to him, because were it not for me being able to be on the family meeting for the time that I've been on, that I wouldn't have been here. And I have to give us an additional special shout out to Joan Esposito, because I guested on her show on a number of occasions. And Joan, that means a lot to me. And I appreciate that those opportunities came my way. So do me the solid, guys, of letting folks know about WCPT and Heartland Signal wherever you are in the country, and pass it on so that we can continue to galvanize. The thing that Mayor Johnson said and that others on the panel said on Monday at this WTTW event is that it's all about us galvanizing. It's all about community. It's all about us pulling together. And it's so incredibly important right now, because they are trying to divide us. We're going to take a quick break. When I come back, when I talk about some of the current issues that are out there that we have to be able to lean into. So thank you guys for 1 year. I am thankful, and I'm proud to be here. Of course, the number is 773-763-9278. This is Choose Views. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
It's Choose Views with Richard Chu on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey guys, welcome back to Choose Views. Good morning. If you're just waking up, U.S. job openings, as we go over to Choose Views News, hit a 3-month low in December, pointing to a slowing labor market. Available positions declined to 7.6 million from the revised 8.2 million in November, led by professional and business services, the Labor Department said Tuesday. While the hiring rate held at a historically low 3.4%, layoffs also remained muted, as well as a slowing jobs market. The figures suggest a lessening of upward pressure on prices, a good sign amid sticky inflation. Estee Lauder, the cosmetic giant, which owns brands such as Clinique, MAC, and La Mer, is cutting as many as 7,000 jobs and restructuring in efforts to stem slowing sales, particularly in Asia. The move comes after the company said it expects net sales to tumble 10% to 12% through the first 3 months of this year, steeper than the 6.8% analysts were expecting, according to Bloomberg. Estee Lauder is a big deal company. A lot of brands, as we just saw. GM's Cruise to cut 50% of their workforce. the autonomous vehicle company owned by General Motors will cut approximately 50% of its staff following GM's retreat from the robo-taxi business. Cruise CEO Mark Whitten will be among the departures, which are expected to involve around 1,150 employees. GM announced it was discontinuing Cruise's robo-taxi program in December following a period of setbacks. Cruise will now become a GM subsidiary with its staff transitioning to develop autonomous vehicle technologies. And China is responding to the U.S. tariffs. It introduced a bevy of its own measures against us here in the U.S. In response to Donald Trump's tariffs on Chinese goods yesterday. They include, and be aware, 10% to 15% levies on U.S. coal, oil, liquefied natural gas, and agricultural products, as well as antitrust investigation into Google. Trump, who previously called the 10% tariffs on China an opening salvo, said he planned to speak to Chinese President Jinping this week. Sorry about that. The U.S. reached agreements Monday to delay tariffs, as we heard, on Canada and Mexico. State Farm seeks raises in California, unfortunately. Following the L.A. fires, State Farm has asked California regulators for emergency approval to raise homeowners insurance by an average of 22%. 22%. California's largest home insurer said it already paid out north of $1 billion in claims and that rate increases were necessary for the company to sustain itself. The state's insurance market was already in a year-long crisis, according to Bloomberg. So we're going to see that's going to have quite an effect in California, and hopefully those who have insurance are able to make the claims and get what they need. But there you go, guys. A couple of Choose Views items this morning. Let's talk about some of the craziness that's going on. We know what the elephants in the room are. So I'll just come at you real quickly. Speaking of China, China canceled Ivanka Trump's 39 trademarks. How about that? I saw something interesting, Henry. DEI was Donald, Eric, and Ivanka. So if we want to cancel DEI, let's start with them. DEI, Donald, Eric, and Ivanka. And it was pictures of the Don Jr., Eric, and I mean, we have some creative people in this world. You know, somebody sat and thought about that. They literally said, "I'm going to come up with a way to make so let's cancel. If we're going to, there we go. Let's not be reckless. Let's use a scalpel and cancel those three." And what I mean by cancel is not any harm, just their influence and having to see their mugs. Yeah. So China said, "Sorry, Ivanka. If y'all going to play that way, we're going to play this way too." All right. Here are a couple other things that hit my table. There are folks now, finally, that are calling for certain levels of legal enforcement on Trump and the Doge boys. I'll start with what I said last week. Let's impeach Donald Trump. The recklessness and not caring for Americans, all Americans, by cutting off funding last week, that's enough to impeach him. It just is. That causes harm. Part of his oath is to do no harm and to protect. Look at the text. So I'm still on that. Let's impeach him. He's and when you all right, impeach him, arrest the Doge boys. France is already considering that for Musk. Other countries are looking at freezing assets. Okay, but I'm gonna I'll touch on these real quickly. The other thing is I don't even know where to start without sounding like I'm being cruel, and I don't want to sound that way. But Gaza. I mean, there's this part of me. There's a part of me where I go the whole f around and find out. I don't want that to sound cruel, because people the folks that are in that part of the world, Palestinians in particular, are suffering because of the Israeli military and because of Netanyahu, not because of the United States of America or other countries that are on their side. They're suffering because of that retaliation. And that's the truth. It is. So I'm careful in this case there's part of me that can go down that path of what folks in certain communities didn't do or decided to do during the election. We already know that. And the frustration for me is that I don't know if do I have a solution for the folks that were severely disappointed by a protest vote or a non-vote or an uncommitted? The reality is it keeps coming out of the mouths of people like me. We tried to tell you. Now, as he said he would do, or at least he was in a crowd of people that said that that's what they wanted to do, he wants to take over Gaza. I mean, part of me says, okay, what's next? Greenland, the Panama Canal, now in Gaza. What's next, y'all? Is he going to roll up on the UK and say, hey, we don't like the fact that, and fill in the blanks? So, I mean, Henry's shaking his head like a bobblehead doll. I don't mean that disrespectfully. He's like, yeah, WTF. We tried to tell folks. We really did. We worked really hard. And so many people who were running around calling former President Biden and former Vice President Harris, they were calling them. And listen, this time last year, right after the beginning of the show, I was saying, stop referring to him as Genocide Joe. I was saying that then. And look what it got us. Look what it got specific people of those communities that referenced him as Genocide Joe. And then as we got through the spring and then into the summer, and we transitioned our candidate, y'all still were saying, calling Joe Biden this, calling Joe Biden that. Then that messaging just flipped over to Vice President Harris. And now this knucklehead says that the U.S. is going to take over Gaza, going to get rid of and move people. But y'all were too smart. You knew everything. Your arrogance. It wasn't even willful ignorance. It was the arrogance that bothered me. The arrogance that you all need to shut up and Joe Biden is genocide. See where I'm stumbling over my words, and I know that I am, because I'm trying not to say that now, because there's babies that have been slaughtered in this part of the world. So I'm really working hard. I'm just as sympathetic as on folks that are being deported for the same. It's a tough one for me, because I don't want to sound like I'm uncaring and insensitive in any of those other words, because I believe that I am. But when are folks going to learn? When are y'all going to learn? When are people who it's frustrating, because here's where we are. When we come back from this break, I want to talk about something else that took place that just burned my biscuit. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. The number is 773-763-9278. This is Choose Views, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Choose Views with Richard Chu on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Choose Views. I'm going to throw you another moment of frustration and just it's not even can you believe it. It's yes, you can believe it and all that. So I haven't been one to watch the Super Bowl. Like, can't wait till Sunday to sit down and watch the Super Bowl in a long time. And it probably goes back to the whole way in which the NFL and the owners and the politicians handled this scenario around Colin Kaepernick. I was trying to be supportive during some of the issues and how they handled some of the player abuse of women. I was not down with that, and I was critical of Roger Goodell and the other owners where they were trying to protect that just unacceptable. But I was still willing to watch some games and make it known that I didn't support where they were coming from, as I would not support any organized or any organization, business. That's because professional sports is a business, y'all. Let's be honest. And I definitely, my watching of pro football went into the tank after the Colin Kaepernick scenario. And you all know what I'm talking about. He wasn't trying to do anything other than ask folks to be respectful and not hurt folks, specifically black men. And the football world of fans lost their damn minds. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to watch football on any day of the week. Occasionally, I might catch part of a game. And it just continues to be, that. And then when Donald Trump referenced the mothers of players in the way in which he did, I can't repeat it on the air, and people still stood behind that, I was like, that's just a bunch of garbage. The owner should have had enough guts to step up and say, you can't talk about a player's moms like that. But they didn't. So I was like, nah, I'm done. And at the risk of some people saying, hey, Rich, it's just sports, I would say, no, that's a bunch of BS. It's not just sports. It's beyond that. Because the NFL, as you guys may have heard, they decided that they're going to remove from the end zone the messaging, end racism. And the only reason that they're doing it, Henry, is because it's been made known that Donald Trump is going to be at the Super Bowl. Y'all hear Henry laughing. He's like, he can't even sit still. So I'm going to just put it this way. If you are against stop racism, you know what that means? That means you're for racism, which probably means you're for sexism and you're for LGBTQ bias. And the list goes on. So I am going to make this announcement right here and right now. I had been thinking about, I'll probably watch the Super Bowl this year. It's a historical moment, even though I'm openly hoping that Philadelphia wins. But it's a historical moment if Kansas City does. I can recognize that and not be a hater. But I'm not going to watch the Super Bowl. Because if they're going to take that sign, if they're going to take that away, do you know how much that hurts me? That a global business, has said because the president of the United States, who is a 34-time convicted felon, and all the rest of the things that we know that he's been indicted of and convicted for, all the rest of, for the NFL, that has a predominance of players who are not straight white Christian men, decided to pull that because of what they were worried about because Donald Trump is going to be at the Super Bowl. This is one of those moments where what Eric Grant and I talk about so often is this is the country that we actually live in, y'all. It just is. Anybody has anything to say to me about that? Oh, no, Rich, it's just, you don't get any room on this one to kind of try to figure out how to negotiate a conversation around, well, they're not really doing that, Rich. Come on, dude. No. The NFL made a decision to remove end racism. Okay? From the end zones ahead of the Super Bowl. So during the Super Bowl. If they decide to put it back, I'm still not sure if I'm going to watch. Because the fact that they even considered it tells me who they really are And the only reason that they are putting it back isn't it because of what they believe. It's because of the public pressure and the financial hardship that they're going to suffer. So it's about the money. It's not about the belief system. And how ironic is it that on my anniversary 1 year that this is probably the heaviest you're going to hear me talk about I won't even say disappointment, because I don't get disappointed much anymore because I try not to have expectations. This one hurts me that a global business would say, because of one dude appearance at this event, we're going to take messaging away that impacts people. And here's why, this is the thing that gets to me about some certain things. Patrick Mahomes' mother is white, his father's black. So basically, is the NFL saying our key guy right now, our poster boy right now, whose mom, by the way, is MAGA, our poster boy, we don't really give a darn about him and ending racism. Yeah, he's our... This one hurts me. I'm going to get through it. It hurts me because it just continues to remind me of who our country really is. That doesn't mean our country doesn't have all of its bright spots and wonderfulness. Don't get me wrong. But for a business of this magnitude, in some way, you walk with me on this for a second, guys. In some ways, this bothers me more than DEI. And don't be upset with me for that. I'm not going to say bothers me more. It's in the same conversation. It's in the same bowl. Because I don't want anybody to take that the wrong way. That's not my intention. But it bothers me on a level like that. They want to take that away. End racism. Maybe what some of the players should do, honestly, that are playing, is that they should all take a knee during the national anthem, particularly if the black players and other players of color that are going to be on the field. And to be honest with you, some of the white players, all of them, every single player that's playing in this event and coach should take a knee out of respect to the fact that the governing body of their business has said, it isn't really that important. So I won't be watching the Super Bowl. Not that that really matters, but I'm putting that out there to let you guys know that when we talk about taking a stand and drawing a line, it's this kind of stuff. Because one dude is going to be at the Super Bowl, and they're worried about how he's going to, wow. Sometimes when I think about these guys who are uber wealthy, every one of the owners of NFL teams are billionaires, and their families are. They're some of the punkest people, and I can't say the words, but they're some of the Christy Teigens in the congressional records description of Donald Trump. You can look it up. PAB. They are. Because if I'm a billionaire, the president's got, listen, dude, no. These are my players. This is my business. You're not going to tell me what I would be letting Roger Goodell know. You need to tell Donald to shut the you-know-what up. Now the event's going to be stinky. Literally. All right. Let's grab some calls before we go to the break. Let's go real quickly to our good friend Big Art. Hey, Big Art, good morning. Welcome to Choose Views.
Hey, Mr. Chu.
Hey there. Hey, Big Art, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me again?
It's stunting. We'll put you on hold, figure out your phone, we'll come back to you. Let's go to Rachel. Rachel, good morning. Welcome to Choose Views.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to everybody. I've moved past the election, and I'm kind of like in an action mode. There are so many things that happened this week alone.
Yeah.
Within the last 24 hours. So his tactic of flooding us with offensive and outrageous acts is meant to overwhelm us.
Yes, it
is. We don't know which topic to hit. So it's like we got to speed up our news. it's how you start some segments, not you, but I'm saying any news network, and they say, here's the top stories.
Right.
Well, that may take like 10, 15 seconds normally, but with Trump, it'll take a minute.
Does it next?
To just give you a blurb of what he did today.
Yeah.
So I think we have to really not get caught up on yesterday, because already yesterday he had set us back 50 years.
Yep.
This week, if you just take any period of time, each act, next Department of Education goes away. This is so major. I can't look back 2 days now. So what I can say is that I'm grateful for all the attorneys, the legal, civil rights, attorneys. They've already given them like 3 or 4 losses.
Yeah.
Okay. And the judges got the injunctions. That's where I'm at. Now, that gives me a little hope that he's pissing these judges off, so he won't be able to get the grace. It's a shame. They let us down. The Supreme Court let us down, all of this. So he's going to get away with murder, and he's talking about putting Americans, shipping them over to, I forget which country, to their jails.
Yeah.
So it's too much. It's overwhelming, but I think we have to find the right sources. Like I watch Midas Touch. That's my legal source, because they're really good with delivering this was filed today, or they tried this, or, and we combated it with that. And then I have you in the morning when I'm going to work in my car, I have my segments.
You have your sources.
And so have good sources. We got to get our affairs in order, get your finances in order. We don't know what, he takes away education. That's going to ruin a lot of people.
Yeah.
You talk about being able to work, or, how do we survive that? And I think the blue states, we need to, I have faith in Pritzker to make alliances with the allies that Trump is alienated.
Yep.
Make
Rachel,
sure that Ireland knows that we love them. That we, so we got to, it's so many things, but, we got to stay on top of what's happening today. What did he do today?
Yeah. Rachel, one of the go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No.
Forgive me. Go ahead.
First of all, thank you for your call and thanks for your contribution. And I love what you just said about that the blue governors have to make sure that they are not only creating but sustaining alliances with other blue state governors and other blue leading voices. That's so important. And I want you to pass that on to people that you communicate with, that's what we have to advocate for, is connectedness and making sure that we don't get distracted. You said it yourself, and it's a so well put point. We can't get distracted by all the flooding of the zone, to use a football analogy, or comment, to be pulled away from each other. That's what they're trying to do, is just to keep hitting us and hitting us and hitting us and hitting us until we can't take it anymore. And no, we can take it because we are who we are. So, Rachel, thank you so much. I got to grab this quick break, but I appreciate your call, and stay safe when you're driving in the mornings, okay?
You as well.
All right, bye now. Let's go to a quick break, Henry. When we come back, we're going to get some more of your calls before we get to the top of the hour. The number is 773-763-9278. This is Choose Views, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to Choose Views with Richard Chu on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Choose Views, 773-763-9278. I see all your texts, and I'll get to them. I'll do my best to try to get them during the top of the hour break. So listen, I'm also... The anniversary was kind of a great way to drop this on you guys. I posted my first Substack, Choose Views. It's time to stand up. And you guys can check that out, and I'll get the information to you as needed. But my first article hit, so we'll see where we go with that. But we want to keep the message out there for you guys, and I want to do my best to keep you weekly posted with Chew's Views on Substack. Let's go to a call. Let's go to our good friend Karen here in Chicago. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Well, first of all, let me wish you a very happy anniversary and express my extreme gratitude to you for being here for all of us, but for also allowing me to occupy some space and voice my numerous opinions on the subject of Project 2025 and just what we saw. The FAFO portion is happening with Gaza as well, and I take no joy in telling people, I told you so.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is the thing. For months and months, there were articles out there saying that Jared Kushner was eyeing beachfront property in Gaza and, you know, perfect place to build on. And, you know, Lawrence O'Donnell was kind of tempering it a little bit, saying, you know, kind of framing it as this is just a distraction. He is not going to be able to do that. And I just never would have, I did not have Elon Musk in our treasury on the bingo card. So I don't know what evidence he has that Donald Trump and Jared Kushner are going to do exactly what they say they're going to do.
See, your point about Lawrence, Lawrence may be right, but that's the point. I think he is right. It is a distraction. But more importantly than it being a distraction, it's the craven craziness.
Yes.
That why would you even do that in the first place and give people any indication that we don't give a damn? I mean,
exactly.
That's the part. The disregard
for the Palestinians.
Yeah.
The absolute disregard. And I mean, well, and I don't know, but like, you know, Donald Trump, if you don't know, is a racist. But shame on the NFL for and I don't know why. I don't know why we had to tell people. Like, people didn't know that he's a racist. But, like, you know, Roger Goodell and the NFL, why? What is the point of that? Again, Donald Trump did not win a mandate, okay? He did not win the plurality of Americans' votes. He won the popular vote by 1.5%. Just because of that, I would have watched the Super Bowl. I mean, they are less than perfect. We all know that, how they treated Colin Kaepernick. By the way, Colin didn't vote. He was not a voter. I hope he's voting now.
I know.
Okay, I'm just, that aside, you know, we have got to be allies. You know, I have to be an ally. And this is not okay. Just like what Target did is not okay. I didn't expect anything better than Walmart, but this is not okay. So I'm tapping out on this. Yeah. I'm out. I am not going to be sitting there with my little Tostitos and my bean dip and my, you know, taquitos and all my snacks watching the Super Bowl. I can't do it.
I mean, Karen, and that's why I said if it were any other category of representation that were treated this way, where if it said if the sign we're going to say in sexual bias, whatever it is, whatever the ism is, if they suddenly said we're not going to have this as a form of support, then you are for the thing. So I wouldn't watch any event, whatever it is, if that were the case. So it hurts me personally because it's specifically the words racism. And but it would be the same if it said if in sexism was in the end zone and they decided to take that out. I couldn't even stand looking at a person that would say, well, I'm going to still watch the Super Bowl, irrespective of the community. So, yeah, it's like...
racism, this is not a hard one. It should not be a hard one for anybody. It really shouldn't. Racism is a cancer. It is a blight on our society. It needs to be eradicated.
Yep.
And instead, all of these businesses are caving in and saying, and like you said, they're basically saying, hey, we're okay with it.
Yeah.
We're okay with the racism. We're okay with the sexism. We're okay with the transphobia, with the homophobia, with all of it. You know, like all of these different companies doing away with the DEI. So, we have to take a stand. And they're talking, people are afraid to get out and protest because of his threats of, imposing martial law. And, why can't we just go ahead and shoot peaceful protesters? Why are we using rubber bullets in Freedom Plaza? Why can't we shoot them actually in the legs? And so we have to use our voices in any and every way that we possibly can, because this is a war on all of us. And I'm so grateful too. And then I'm going to let you go because I know you have other people waiting. But, thank you, Democrats, for getting out there and speaking in the volumes that you did with the language that we are all using out here. Yeah. All the MFers, all the, 4-letter. That's how I feel. I am a walking 4-letter word nowadays. So,
Karen, hey y'all, Karen's got a sandwich sign walking around, and it's got a bullet point list of nasty A words, and she's like, "Yep, that's who I am. If you got a problem with it, too blankety blank bad."
Listen, on any given day that ends in Y, I'm out there. I'm like screaming, swear words. My husband's like, "Oh my Lord, what have you done to my wife? She never swore like this."
Well, but here we are. But here we are. We get to stand up. One of the opening lines in my Substack is the lyrics from a song by the gospel singer Donnie McClurkin, and it's "We fall down, but we get up." And so we're getting up right now, y'all. So, Karen, thank you for a great year of you being a part of the show and being a great friend. And, hey, we got another year in front of us, so let's get this thing done.
Yes, let's do this. Thank you. Oh, and really quick, I saw in the news when I was sitting in the dentist chair, there is a new brewery opening up. It's Diversity House. If people don't know about it, look it up. But they have their ribbon cutting, and it's a Black-owned brewery.
Cool.
So
I didn't even know about that. Okay.
Anybody out? Yeah, look it up. I was excited because I do have some beer drinkers in my family. So we are going to definitely go and support Diversity House.
We got to talk about that. All right, cool. Thanks, Kay. Appreciate you.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good day. You too. Bye-bye. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in another call before. Let's go to Andrew in Detroit real quickly. Hey, Andrew, good morning and welcome to Choose Views.
Hey, Richard, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
That's happy anniversary to us all that get to listen to you as well. So,
Thank you.
I heard a funny thing on C-SPAN this morning. A Republican called in and said, "What's all this big deal about Gaza? Why do they want Gaza? If we're gonna occupy any place, why don't we occupy France?"
Oh, Andrew.
The Republicans and independents were calling in. They're all saying this is the stupidest thing they've ever heard. I don't know.
It's just craven and mean it's to even say it, Andrew. Whether we were to go forward with it or not, to even say that and to have that kind of public disregard for the Palestinian folks. I mean, I hear you, Andrew. I'm doing my best this morning not to curse vehemently. So, how have you been doing otherwise over there in Detroit? You been doing okay?
It's been hard, Richard. This is just hard. I don't know. It breaks my heart. I can't believe there are people standing at the borders trying to get into this country. Let me out. Get out of my way. Let me out. You got to be stupid. Come here. This is the worst place on earth. We can't believe it's gotten this bad.
Yeah, it has.
We can't even believe it's gotten this bad. I don't know. Like I always say, I'm glad I'm as old as I am because I don't know how much more of this I can take.
Well, we want you with us for as long as the good Lord will keep you around.
Yeah.
So we want to send you the praise and the energy that you deserve, Andrew. So hang in there, my man.
I'm young, so I ain't going anywhere very fast.
Great to hear your voice today.
One last thing, Richard. It really got to me when Target did what they did, but then I said, you know what? This isn't hard for them to do. They've been wanting to do this all along.
Yep. There it is.
All of them.
They just were looking for a sliver of.
This is what they wanted to do all along.
Yeah. Andrew, thanks for your call and your contribution and your kind words. I appreciate that, and look forward to hearing from you again this next year, okay?
There you go. Good luck with Substack.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, of course, we will have we'll be talking with somebody that you know. The number is 773-763-9278. This is Choose Views, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Choose Views with Richard Chew on WCPT 820 AM, where facts matter. Take it away, Richard.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Choose Views, 773-763-9278. We'll grab your calls, but we got to take care of a couple things. Today, 2 to 5, Joan Esposito will be taking your calls, talking to Tiffany Muller of In Citizens United, Democratic strategist Keith Edwards, Indiana University political professor Marjorie Hershey, and Heartland Signal's Rich Eberwine, with 3 stories you might have missed from our digital newsroom. Live, local, and progressive, weekdays 2 to 5 here on WCPT. And then tonight, Patty Vasquez will be joined by filmmaker Michael Graff and Gabe Roth, executive director of Fix the Court, a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that advocates for the non-ideological fixes that would make the federal courts, and primarily the Supreme Court, more open and accountable to the American people. Driving it home with none other than Patty Vasquez, 5 to 7 p.m. here on WCPT. And guys, get in your questions. We're obviously celebrating 1 year on the air. We thought it would be fun to do an interview to mark the occasion, not the kind that I normally do, where I'm interviewing folks on the show every day, where I ask the questions, but an interview where you ask me questions and I provide the answers. So I'm inviting you to submit a question to me to answer on a video recording that we'll put online and play on the air later in February. Ask me about anything, my background, my personal history, my philosophy. I always laugh on that, philosophy on life, my fondest memories, my favorite movies or music, my thoughts about a historical or current event, and my most memorable moments hosting Choose Views. Whatever you have on your mind, submit a question. You can text it to 773-763-9278 or email it to Richard at WCPT820.com. Probably a little bit better to email it there. You can be a little bit more elaborative if you need to. Get all of our podcasts. If you're listening live, tell Alexa to play WCPT from TuneIn. And it might say, yeah, okay, we'll do that. Make your way over to heartlandsignal.com. We have a ton of articles and audio on X, audio and video on X, I should say. And they range from just some of the most insane, crazy things that people are saying, like the North Dakota Republican that says Trump and the CIA should overthrow Mexican's, quote, Jew president. And people say it ain't about race. We got Henry lit up this morning. Henry's like, he's just ready to throw something. Can you believe that? I can believe it. It's no surprise to me. You know, we got the NFL. So anyhow, make your way over to heartlandsignal.com, our digital platform. There's just a great list of items for you to review and to read and to pass on. Please do that. And make sure that you are informing those that you care about. This is Black History Month, so there's some good articles and pieces that are there as well. On hold right now, we have our good friend Kurt Mullett from Hoosier Blue 63. Good morning, Kurt, and welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Richard, and good morning, Ann. Happy anniversary, dude.
Thank you.
This is great. You have made such an impact on so many people, and you need to realize that, okay? Be proud of what you've done. Just like me, you reached out to a normal dude from Indiana and gave me this opportunity, and now we become friends, and you don't understand the impact you've had on people. So thank you. I appreciate everything you've done.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, and thank you. I also appreciate the opportunity to have been able to do it, and I am so thankful for that, because I think, kind of one of the things that I believe a lot of us all want to be able to say And it particularly becomes this way as we get chronologically older. What impact have I had on society? What am I leaving as a thing that people can say about me that's a good thing? And that's not to be selfish, but it's a goal to have had some pride in the time that you were here on Earth. Okay, and this will be one of those opportunities that I got to have an impact in a positive way on people. And I'm thankful for that. Believe me, when I tell you I'm extraordinarily thankful and humbled by it. And the people that I've been able to connect with, like you and so many others. And that's cool. And I'm going to continue to work my behind off to do a good job for anybody and everybody that listens and follows not only my show, but the station, because I feel like I owe that to the people that listen to our programming. So I'm excited about this next year and what we're going to be able to do, given all the hell that we're facing. I'm honored to be able to be in the position to stand in the void and try to be a leading voice right now. So, I'm cool with that.
You should be. So yeah, you should be. So
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you go right ahead because
I have a clip. I have a clip that I want to play. That after the clip, I want to then get your thoughts as it relates to something that we've talked about in terms of standing up and fighting. So I want you guys to listen to this clip that Henry and I put together from Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii.
If you want to change an agency, introduce a bill and pass a law. You cannot wave away an agency that you don't like or that you disagree with by executive order or by literally storming into the building and taking over the servers. That is not how the American system of government works. That's number one. Number two is, it is true that there will be suffering all over the world. There already is suffering all over the world as a result of this. But it's not just that. It's that instability from starvation and disease will visit us in the United States of America. There is a reason that U.S. aid is an arm of American foreign policy, and it is because we understand that a stable world means a stable America.
That's Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii. And the reason I wanted to play that clip, I have another one that I want to play, but I want to talk about this first, and then we'll go to the next one. Oftentimes cats like you and me will say, privately and publicly, the Democratic Party needs to come to the party ready to break some stuff, and to come to the party ready to let folks know that we're not playing around. To use the basketball analogy, let's throw some elbows. And he's one of those voices, and I'm hoping that they've heard the call that we can't vote for any of their garbage. We can't give them any passes. We can't think that maybe they're going to have any reasonable way of thinking or interacting. They're not. And the elected officials, whether it be the local person in a community all the way up the chain federally, have got to draw the line in the sand and say no. And I just want to get your take on that way of being as we go forward.
I've been thinking a lot about what is actually going on and all the different things that we're being put in our face and we're seeing happening. And I've gone to some dark places here in the last few days. I mean, I've been struggling with things because I don't have the optimism that a lot of people do, and that just tears me apart from within, because I've always been a very optimistic person. I've always looked at things, in a positive way. I love the attitude that a lot of these politicians are having, and they're speaking up. But you know what? It's too late. It's too late. We have a dictatorship in place right here. This is what's going on in our country, and this is why people are not understanding why aren't our politicians doing it? They don't have any control, really, okay? And I know you're going to have a different take on it, and we need to talk about things like this. We need to have different opinions on things in this, but do you not think that they're afraid for their lives right now if they speak up? I mean, when these cabinet positions get put in place and he's got all his people in power, things are going to, I was talking last night with some people. Somebody made the comment, well, I'm just surprised how quick it's gone. And I'm like, well, I'm kind of surprised that it's not gone quicker. I mean, because, this is what they're doing. I mean, don't we as humans in this country, don't we understand the meetings with Viktor Orban, the sleepover that he had with him down in Mar-a-Lago, the meetings with, Putin and, just Saudi Arabia involvement? I mean, haven't we looked at all of this? This is not just a Donald Trump attack on the United States. This is a global movement from dictators in our world that want to destroy America, and they have poofed up the ego of Donald Trump to the point to where he doesn't care. I mean, he's never really cared about anybody. But he now understands. Guys like Trump want to be known in history, okay? They want a legacy there, and they don't care what that legacy is. So we need to be prepared about what's happening. Guys like you and me, okay, people like you and me, we may be in danger here in the near future because of how we speak out against this administration and what's going on. And that's a reality that, we have to realize, that we have to face. So I love the fight, and I love the ideas. And Pritzker and so many of them around the country are doing this. I don't know, man.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you. That's why I wanted to ask you the question, because part of this, and there's a couple of things I want to go back to that you said. One of the first ones is he wants to be remembered as, and what went through my mind in that moment is he wants to be remembered for being a stronger dictator than Hitler and Mussolini were. That's okay. So that's precisely. I'm not going to lie. What went through my mind as I was listening to you say that. He wants to be recognized and remembered for being a stronger dictator than they were, no matter what the cost is for that. And what we see with dictators across over time is that they are at their core weak people. And when you said he's now pumped up by external forces, external people, that he feels that he can't be affected. Well, the reality is, however it happened, staged or not, people who have been in these positions before have been affected. And I will stop there from saying what's in my brain. So that nobody takes that any way other than where I'm stopping at. But to that end, what also went through my mind, and listen, I'm with you. We can't have our heads buried in the sand on this at all. That is the optimism's important because that sustains us. Because without the optimism, they will attempt to run over us.
Absolutely.
So that's why I remain optimistic about what we have to do and how we have to do it. But it doesn't change the fact. I got an interesting text from someone yesterday that said to me that black women aren't going to be out marching this time around. And I put that in the context of where we are right now about fighting. There's a lot of people who are in some ways saying, you know what, I'm prepared for this. I've been prepared for this. We're built for it. And I've been watching the Dr. Henry Louis Gates's stories on migration and how black folks have migrated throughout the country. And one thing that's consistent in the stories that he's telling and reminding us of is that, we've been down certain paths before. The difference is this time, the broad swath of people that are being impacted is a bigger group of people. And that's why people can't I believe, or at least have their heads in the sand. I mean, shutting down departments, this is a thing that a lot of folks just aren't paying attention to, and this is why what you're saying about people have got to be prepared is shutting down federal departments is going to have an economic impact as much as anything. I mean, just look at it like this. If X number of people, and I know you have looked at it this way, are in a particular community and they're making X amount of money per year and they work for a federal agency and that agency goes away, that money that they were spending in that community goes away as well. So it has an immediate economic impact on what the sustainabilities are of certain communities. That's the thing that I think people are not prepared for, as much as it is about tampering with our information that these Doge boys are doing. It's when you shut down these agencies, that's an economic impact that is immediate. It's immediately felt. So you're right. I mean, I'm optimistic, Kurt, because I'm built that way, but I'm also very realistic because, you know, they just decided to take.
We have to.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I think
the optimism is important to have, but it's also got to be mixed with the dose of realism. And when you said someone asked you the question, "How did we get?" Did they say, "How did we get here?" Or what was it? What was it that someone said to you?
Yeah, how did we get here, or what? You know,
we got here slowly by not paying attention to what's going on around us, and by denying.
Yeah, well, me and you have talked about this many times. How did we get here? Racism. I mean, until people understand. I mean, I know people hate hearing that word, but you know what, people? That is why we are where we are right now, because of racism. And racism is not just – I'm sorry, I'm starting to get excited here. You know me. Racism is not just color.
Yeah.
It's not just color.
That's right.
Racism is your hate towards anyone who ain't like you, okay? And we see this, and this is the empowerment that these people have right now in our country. These are white supremacists that want to just look at their district. People are saying, well, they can't do that. That's against the law. They don't care about the law. This guy's proven he doesn't care about the Constitution. And this is what gets me, these people out there who support him and call themselves patriots. You support the guy who we've never had in the history of our country, a dude in charge that is basically ripping apart the Constitution every single day.
Yeah.
And you call yourself patriots. Are you? My God, what is wrong with people? Your caller Rachel earlier said something about the top story every day. Rachel, that was a great point, but let me tell you, Rachel, here's the top story. We have a dictator in command of our country, and everything that's going on, we don't need to know the details. We just need to know he's destroying our lives is what he's attempting to do. So
someone sent me a text that said, here's one for you in terms of fighting back. Someone sent me a text that says, I think we need to quickly go into the U.S. Capitol and take out Elon, Trump, etc. now in all caps. And, you know, the other thing that went through my mind, Kurt, when you were talking about what he wants to be remembered as or seen as, what crossed my brain is the idea that we could have a quote unquote civil war. And I don't mean civil war in the sense of our civil war in the 1800s. I'm talking about one where the people who feel that they got what they wanted fight against the people that have been opposing that. And that's where there's these daily scuffles, if you will, and it's concerning. That part is concerning to me because I think that there are going to be people, and I've already seen it in some micro ways, that are empowered to try to go after other folks that are in opposition to the current administration. I've seen. Yeah,
I that kind of thing is what I'm looking at and trying to pay attention to more than ever because, just like what the NFL did.
Yeah.
People are afraid of him. That's all fear right there. They're bending the knee and kissing the ring because they fear the wrath that he can bring down on them.
What cracks me up about that, Kurt? I mean, and I guess this is just how I'm built. I'm a billionaire and I own an NFL franchise, and I'm part of an organization of other owners. I can't support that. I'm going to be loud and proud and ask. What are you going to do to me, Donald Trump? I'm a billionaire. I have access to a lot of things. Yeah, you're the president of the United States, but take a billionaire that decides to get with other billionaires that don't like this and then start to move in the direction to remove him from office. It boggles my mind. It's like these guys, at their core, they must be kind of weak.
But Richard, they have access to everyone's information now. Your Social Security number, your bank accounts. They have access to everything.
Yeah.
It would not take anything for somebody to go in and completely wipe out your funds completely. I mean, that's what the power that these people have now, the power that Elon Musk has brought to this. And he's got this power. We with sensible thinking understand why, because he bought this election. This was not a fair election. I don't care what anybody says. But that vote's done sailed. We can't do anything about that. Elon Musk bought this election for Donald Trump. And there's a plan with these people. With Elon, with Putin, with Viktor Orban, with Xi, with Trump, with Netanyahu, all of these people, they have a plan, okay? And this is what we're seeing unfolding. So as a billionaire, you got to be careful of what you say because you could wake up in the morning and everything that you own could be taken away from you because we have a dude from South Africa who's here illegally, the questions on his actual papers, his, immigration status was not done right.
Yeah.
Has control of your funds now. I mean, I don't think people understand what they gained access to. Okay? I mean, they could literally wipe you out in a heartbeat. That's what they want. They're doing this for control. If you don't bend the knee and do what we want you to do, this is what we're going to do to you. And you know what? We got the power now to do it. So stop us.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that last part. Yes. And so for folks that are listening, I get that. What Kurt said. Don't get this conversation wrong. I get that. Their goal is to have that.
Oh no, I know you do.
That control. And so Kurt's he's hitting the nail squarely on the head in terms of what their goal is and what they want to do and having access to to this information. We understand it's a attempt to take over all that they can take over to then be able to get people to further bend at the knee. And so I get that too.
Richard, look, if you're okay, let's just throw out a scenario there. If you're white or you're black and you're transgender and you're getting a Social Security check or whatever, they have access to all of that information now.
Yeah,
so
I know.
How they are going to they're going to okay, so you're transgender, you're getting this. Okay, all your money's gone. Because this is the hate that they have for people. Even though that's less than 2% of our population.
Yeah.
They hate it. They hate people like that. So, and I know you got to go. There's so many things that we could, that's the thing with me and you. And we could talk for 4 hours and still not cover everything. So.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you being with us this morning and reminding people to stay plugged in because this is the fight that we're up against.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm a bit of a sarcastic person. I stayed up all night working on this, Richard, okay?
Okay.
Happy anniversary, Richard. We've got you on our mind. And you know where that's from, brother.
Yes, I do.
Happy anniversary, dude.
Thank you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Have a good day, Kurt.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
You too, buddy.
All right.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
That's Kurt Mullet, y'all. Cruiser Blue 63. Check him out. He is putting it out there. Okay, we're going to take a quick break because we have our two guests that are calling in right as we speak. The number, of course, here is 773-763-9278. This is Choose Views, and we'll be right back.
It's Choose Views with Richard Chew on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Choose Views, 773-763-9278. Nothing like a dose of Kurt that says, yeah, pay attention, y'all. I've been saying it. But also, yes, the reality of these Doge boys and having access to information is no joke. And I'm not joking around about it. The fight that has to happen doesn't go away, though. It just doesn't. So we are in those crosshairs. We don't know what's going to happen. We can speculate, but the reality is we have to be prepared for those things that he mentioned, because I agree with him that we need to be mindful there. So we talk about health. We talk about lots of different things on our show. We try to always tie it to something that's a local group that may be dealing with things here in the Chicagoland area, but it's part of a greater national conversation. And cancer survivorship is a big part of that in America. We've got some wonderful organizations here in Chicago that speak to that. And one of them is the Advocacy for Illinois for the American Lung Association. We have with us this morning two of our champions in that space, starting off with American Lung Association's Director of Advocacy for Illinois, Christina Hamilton, and local cancer survivor John Anderson III with us this morning here on Choose Views. Welcome to both of you to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Well, I'll start with you, Christina, and John. Thank you for being with us. We'll definitely get to you momentarily. Christina, thank you for being with us. But tell us a little bit about your work as Director of Advocacy here in Illinois for the American Lung Association.
Sure. I lead all of our advocacy and public policy efforts related to lung health. So that includes tobacco prevention and education, healthcare access, air pollution, air quality issues, and lung cancer. And, of course, that's what we want to focus on today. Unfortunately, lung cancer is the leading cause of cancer death. It's still creating quite a burden in the state of Illinois and nationwide. So a lot of our advocacy is around raising awareness around lung cancer and increasing funding for research and screening for lung cancer.
So, Christina, what's the number one cause, or the top causes, I should say, for lung cancer in all communities? We know it's a disproportionately high number for black men and black women, but what are the top causes of lung cancer?
The leading cause of lung cancer is still cigarette smoking. About 80 to 90% of lung cancer cases are due to smoking. However, there are other risk factors like radon, which is the colorless, odorless gas that it naturally emits from the ground and gets caught in buildings. The only way to know if it's present is to test for it. Also genetics, exposure to indoor, outdoor air pollution, occupational hazards, family history, asbestos, and radiation. So there are other risk factors for lung cancer that contribute to the high rate.
Okay, got it. Have you seen, in terms of local involvement, given that you're the Director of Advocacy here in Illinois, have you seen energy policy conversation from our local elected officials here in Chicago, Cook County, and even the state in this space? What's your relationship like with them, and what are they doing to talk about this horrible illness?
Absolutely. The cancer community and cancer prevention community is very robust in the Chicagoland area and statewide. The state established a 5-year comprehensive cancer control plan in 2022, and it goes till 2027. And that outlines several priorities for the state and different goals that we want to meet and strategies to meet that goal. So that plan guides a lot of the work statewide from organizations like the Lung Association and many other public health organizations, hospital systems, and other stakeholders in lung cancer. So the cancer plan was led by the Illinois Department of Public Health, and then they partnered with organizations across the state to develop that. That is very much on the radar of the Illinois General Assembly, Governor Pritzker. And there's also an Illinois Lung Cancer Roundtable that the Lung Association is a member of. And again, it brings together stakeholders to discuss ways that we can reduce the burden of lung cancer in Illinois. And then finally, there's the Lung Screening Network. It's composed of primarily oncology nurses that focus on lung cancer, but also other healthcare professionals that deal with lung cancer. And I believe there's about 20 states that are members of that, but the founders of it are based in Illinois. So that's the Lung Screening Network. So there's several different avenues, get involved in lung cancer awareness in our state and in our city and county.
So let me come back to the question about the round table. Is the round table just something that elected officials can be a part of, or is that something that everyday citizens can be a part of?
It's mostly everyday citizens, and certainly I think the organizers, which is the American Cancer Society, would be willing to invite elected officials occasionally, but it's primarily everyday citizens and healthcare professionals involved in lung cancer.
How often do they meet, and how often, where, and so forth? Because that's, in terms of getting information out and participating in the process, I think that more citizens would certainly love to be aware of how to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's actually a very timely question. On Tuesday, February 11th, the Lung Cancer Roundtable will be meeting at the American Lung Association's offices at 12 p.m., and it's located at our downtown Chicago office at 55 West Blacker in Suite 800. So we meet monthly, usually virtual, but the meeting on Tuesday will be in person.
Okay. We may circle back to that to repeat that for folks who are interested. So, John, welcome to the show, and thank you for being with us. John Anderson III, you are a lung cancer survivor, and I'd love to have you share your story with us, your diagnosis, your recovery, where you are now, and how you are navigating and managing your life.
Got it. First of all, thanks for having me. And I want your listeners to know that this is for everyone. I'm mainly focusing on black men and men of color because that's what I am, a black man. But I want the mothers, daughters, brothers, sisters, uncles to know that this affects the entire family, not just the cancer survivor or the one that's diagnosed with cancer. But let me tell you my story. In 2013, I had a pretty great job where I worked indoors, outdoors. I had this nagging cough and this phlegm coming up. I thought it was part of, having a cold. I was spitting up phlegm and sometimes gurgled at night. I just thought it was just part of the job. But unfortunately, I had a shoulder injury. So I went in for a CT scan. And my doctor, after my CT scan, he said, John, don't worry about your shoulder. We want to address this. Finished on ball-sized mass in your left lung. Unfortunately, they didn't know what it was. They did a biopsy. Let's say I got my results back like on a Thursday. Because my cancer was so aggressive, I was on the table having my left lung removed that following Tuesday. So it was really aggressive. Now, after that, I thought I was out of the woods. I went through chemotherapy. But unfortunately, the cancer came back in my only right lung. So, of course, I'm kind of concerned. Our family's concerned. We tried medication. Wow. No avail. I'm still, what's going on? But my oncologist at a very prestigious hospital here in Chicago had a meeting of the minds at a round table, and they sent my specimen in. When they came back, I had what they call a rare case of lung cancer. It's called ROS1. Now, because of my genetic makeup and this medication, they were able to give me medication. I'm going to tell you, young man, it pretty much eradicated the cancer in my right lung. I've been taking it since 2015, and I've been cancer-free. My CT scans are great. Of course, that goes with diet and exercise. But I want to just let you know that it's been a struggle with my family, financially, mentally. I'm a married man. I have younger children at that time. Most of them are grown now, but that was, like I said, about 10 or 12 years ago. But it was hard dealing with the medication. It was hard going through the trials. There was a little fear factor, too, worrying about, what was going on. But let me tell you something. I want to let everybody out there know that because of some of the disparities within the black and brown community, we need to start educating one another, asking questions, and along with the round table, the American Cancer Society, American Lung Association, we can make this happen in this round table meeting. I'll be a part of that, too, coming up next week. I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's just like the roots of a tree. There are all these people involved, and you start getting questions answered. We now have also, I don't know if you saw, we have commercials for the American Lung Association to get screened. We have billboards. However, dealing with this right now, my children are great. They should be healthy. It's helped me keep my weight off. That's a really big thing. But what it's really focused on is that I am now involved in helping other people, not just men of color, but everybody to know that there is this research that's going on. If you donate, and it's out there, because I'm not going to lie. If I was a young man, I would donate, you do the walk. I was really skeptical that was my money going towards research. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to tell you, I am research. I am walking, living, breathing research, and it does work. Without the research and this medication, unfortunately, I would not be here. So it's up to us as a community, as like she was talking about all the nurses, the doctors, because when I was first diagnosed, biomarker testing was on it. It's at the cuff. It just started. And now it's so, wow, it's outstanding now. It's the numbers, the medicines, the options you have, other than invasive such as chemo and radiation and some pills that just don't agree with you. It can pinpoint something if. Now, however, if it'll work with your cancer and with your biological makeup. So I just want to say thank you guys, first of all, for having us. Please know that this affects everyone, no demographic, no color, no financial. It does not care. Cancer doesn't care, That's one thing we can get together on this round table and talk more about this. And places like you and your radio station, which really, I heard you speaking, and it sounded good. It's kind of what people need to hear to keep this going. I'm serious, to keep it going, because education and just knowing and people helping and some place to go and numbers to call. And Teresa, I'm sorry, Christina will give you all the information on those special numbers, too, after I finish speaking. But I want to say thank you, and there's hope. And don't give up, and remember, too, this affects everyone. It affects everyone, not just black people, white. It affects us all. And thank you so much, young man, for having me to answer all your questions.
Well, John, let me get myself together before I reply. You are an inspiration. Anybody that's listening to this show and heard what John just said, and the energy and the passion in his voice after going through what he's gone through, I oftentimes say, when you see somebody that's gone through something greater than you yourself have, that should give you enough inspiration to get up and fight the next day. And so, John, I applaud you for your fight, your courage, your energy, your passion. It's palpable over the phone right now on the air. And I'm so thankful that we have you with us today to let folks know to not give up hope and to stay in the fight. Because in a greater conversation about where we are as a society, it is going to take that kind of energy, that kind of passion, that kind of belief in oneself, but also in each other, to be able to get through what's going on right now in our country and certainly in the world. And I'm not trying to get partisan with you about where we are, but facing the challenges that you faced and coming out on this side, I am so proud of you, and I'm thankful that you were able to share that passion with us this morning. Because it takes a lot of courage. It takes a team, it takes a village, as the phrase goes. And thank goodness that you've had those folks in your life to be there as part of it. Christina, let me ask you this quick question. John just shared some things that were probably technical for some people to not necessarily understand, and I'm willing to bet there's a number of cancer survivors that are listening to our show this morning. But what I want to ask you is, when the diagnosis, John said that he thought it may have been a cough. He wasn't quite sure, little things like that. Screening, how do we get more people to know? I don't know how to ask this question without sounding completely silly. If something's not right, get it checked out. Maybe I'll put it that way. That's the statement I'll make rather than ask a question. And I don't want anybody to be offended by that, but we really do want to encourage folks, yes, to be more mindful of the screening opportunities that are out there. Is that a fair way to put that?
Yeah, it's definitely. The screening rate for people who are high risk for lung cancer is only about 17% in Illinois. So we have a lot of room for improvement for people to get screened. Early detection in lung cancer is critical. When you're able to diagnose lung cancer in an earlier stage, it is easier to treat and more likely to be cured. So some of the symptoms, can be what John described. People can also have shortness of breath, frequent lung infections like bronchitis or pneumonia, coughing up blood. So there are several symptoms, of course, related to like the respiratory area, your chest. So we do encourage people, if you're having persistent symptoms like that, it's not improving, to advocate for yourself to your provider, insist that you get it evaluated. For screening specifically, the current guidelines are focused on people with a smoking history. So they either smoked a pack of cigarettes a day for 20 years, or they smoked 2 packs a day for 10 years and quit within the last 15 years. So there are some guidelines that link to the insurance coverage for screening, but there are other evaluations that people can have if they don't fit those screening guidelines. But ultimately, over 560,000 people in Illinois are currently eligible for lung cancer screening because they have that smoking history. So it's imperative that we continue to get the word out. And like John said, don't be fearful. There's a lot of hope for people with lung cancer these days for them to, if they get screened and get it caught early, if they have a biomarker where there's a treatment available, that they really can survive this disease.
And the Lung Association, Christine, correct me if I'm wrong, here in Illinois, and I would presume throughout the rest of the country, is offering free lung cancer screenings for here in Illinois residents. Is that correct?
Yes, for people who are uninsured or underinsured through the Illinois Lung Cancer Screening Initiative, the Lung Association, working with Illinois Department of Public Health, can cover people's screening. We also provide support with in between appointments, transportation assistance, and just links to other resources of common needs that someone going through cancer might have. People can call Lung Helpline to find out more information. It's 844-ALA-LUNG. That's 844-ALA-LUNG, or ALA-LUNG with the numerical version is 252-5864. We also have an email address that they can contact, helplineinfo@lung.org. And we have a website, lung.org/LCS for lung cancer screening-assistance. So there's a variety of ways to contact us to learn more information. But the initiative is focused on getting more people screened and helping to reduce those barriers to people getting screening, such as transportation and lack of information.
So one of the easiest things that folks can do then is if they just go to lung.org, there's a lot of information that they can get there and then determine kind of which direction they need to go and which people would be important for them to connect with. Is that correct?
Yes, they go to lung.org and we have a search bar, and they can type in lung cancer, and eventually they'll get navigated to our local resources.
So that's something anywhere. Someone can go anywhere, obviously, in the country, go to that site, lung.org, and then find which is the closest group and even potentially find out where screenings are in their state. Is that correct?
Yes, if they contact the lung helpline, they can describe what resources are available within their state. We have partnerships with screening centers, hospital systems throughout the country, and just knowledge and awareness of other lung cancer resources. So the helpline is the best place to go to actually get some more specific information for your community.
And reminder again, guys, next Tuesday, for those who are interested or have a possible concern about someone in your family, the roundtable is going to be a virtual roundtable as well as a live roundtable that folks can go to. And if you could, Christina, let folks know how they can find the roundtable, because I think a lot of people anywhere that can't get to it physically can go virtually and be able to plug into this roundtable. How can folks do that?
They can contact us in a couple ways. They can email ilrt@cancer.org. So that's the email address for the roundtable. They can also email info@lung.org to get the specifics for Tuesday. So it'll be hybrid, it'll be virtual and in person at the American Lung Association's offices in downtown Chicago.
Fantastic. John, some closing words before we wrap up today.
Wow, you got me tingling. Some closing words is that this is about everybody. But I'm going to tell you something. Men sometimes tend to be the providers. And believe it or not, a lot of black men are afraid to go to the doctor because they're fearful they're going to find something. But that's the reason we go to the doctor. But I want people to know that mothers, daughters, talk to your dads, talk to anybody about if they have a symptom or they think they're being Superman, to just go get it checked out. It's so important, because if I hadn't had that now, I had great insurance, I have a great support staff, and because my shoulder was injured, if I hadn't went in for that shoulder, even myself, I wouldn't have went in for my slim until it probably got to the point where it was beyond no return.
Yeah.
But because of the shoulder injury, even my stubborn behind ended up going to see. So just focus on your health, focus on your family, and what comes behind all of that. Now we have all these resources which I didn't have 10 years ago,
Yeah.
From biomarker testing to screening to the health, the free, the certain people that have to get tested because of how much they smoke and their age. There's a lot of options now, but those numbers that Christina had, and also the roundtable, we're going to try to do better, to get more information out there to people and the underserved communities, too. That's going to be my goal.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me, young man.
Absolutely, John. Thank you for being with us. And Christina as well. Thank you both for your leadership and your advocacy and your courage and your fight. So I appreciate you both being with us on this particular morning. Stay safe. We'd love to have you back in the future and to talk about some of the things that the organization's doing and how other roundtables might be happening for folks that want to be able to plug in. But thank you both for being with us this morning.
Thanks for getting us out there, and thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, be safe. Thanks again for being with us. All right. Well, what can I tell you, Henry? Two advocates and a very, very strong fighter in John Anderson III. And we appreciate him being with us and letting us know. Stay plugged in, stay aware, get checked out. Screenings for cancer and other areas, guys, is a thing that we have to do. All right. Quick shift. We have a little bit of time left. I'm going to squeeze in a couple of quick calls before we wrap up. Let's go to Farmer real quickly. Farmer, you got 30 seconds. Go for it.
Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary with Chew and Chew's Views. Happy anniversary to you.
Thank you so much for your wonderful words. You doing okay down there?
I'm in Richmond, dude. I'm getting ready to go to the protest.
There you go.
At the Capitol.
There you go. Got to do it.
There you go.
Got to stay in the fight.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Enjoyed you on John Finkelstein's show. Called him. You got to get on there more, man. You really let your hair down. Grandma Osley, I'm in the capital of Virginia today, the Commonwealth, and I am here for you. I know you can't get to Springfield, but I am your voice today, Grandma Osley.
Take that energy with you and spread the word, Farmer. Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
All right. Happy anniversary, kid.
Thank you so much. Be well. And stay safe. Let's go to see if we can squeeze in Big Art real quickly before we wrap up. Hey, Big Art, you got 30 seconds. Go for it.
Okay, happy anniversary to you and happy birthday to me. So we should be able to remember those things.
We will.
With no problem. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I'm too big a sports fan to not watch the Super Bowl. I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. But what I would like to see, I thought your idea of, if not all, a majority of the players and coaches taking a knee. And if that's not possible, I know it's too late for them to order helmets with end racism on the back of them. I would like to see the players get a Sharpie, since DT likes using Sharpies to make an emphasis on stuff he knows absolutely nothing about, and write end racism on the back of their helmets.
That's
and see what the repercussions could be.
Yeah, that's a good point, Big R. I'll talk a little bit more about that in the days to come. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for holding. I know we had a little bit of a connection issue, but I wanted to get you in because I know you've been holding.
No, it's okay. It's fine. It happens. It happens.
Stay strong. Good to hear your voice.
Same here, man.
Have a good day,
All right,
Big
take care. You too. Be careful out there later on, people. It's going to get icy.
That's true. It will. All right, man. Be well. Yeah, he's right, guys. And if you're in Chicago, be careful in your commutes. It's going to be the weather's going to change today, and it's already cold. So, to Big Art's point, it'll probably end up being a little bit icy and slick. So please be safe, y'all. Great to be with everybody on this 1-year anniversary of Choose Views. And like I said earlier, I appreciate everybody who's been with us and staying with us, and not just my show, our show, but all the broadcasts here on WCPT. We appreciate what you guys do in following us and calling and texting and all the things that you've done to allow our shows to be here. And kudos again to all of our team, from our board engineers to all of our staff. Thanks so much for all that you do. All right, guys, got to wrap it up. As always, take a deep breath and make your life count. We'll see you tomorrow.